in growing Bexar County. Our conference focus this year provides a chance to grow our local economy by recognizing that the federal government is the largest buyer of products and services anywhere in the world. I hope you're able to fully utilize the resources we have available, those offered by the SBA, to help you in our theme of maximize federal contracting opportunities. And I certainly stand ready to serve personally. Vital to my work is listening and responding to you. My local office was opened the first week of January, accessible right there on the sidewalk across from the downtown Frost Drive-In Bank near Santa Rosa Hospital on West Travis Street. While I may be new to some of you here, I'm certainly not new to working on behalf of small businesses and entrepreneurs. I'll serve as an advocate for any person, regardless of party or philosophy, who's got a legitimate complaint with any part of the federal government, or maybe just needs a little information. And while I try to make as many business ribbon-cutting ceremonies as possible here in San Antonio, I know that for many of you, the most important thing is to attend those ceremonies to cut through federal red tape day in and day out. It is an honor to join you in opening this conference, which I hope will give many of you the opening you deserve to grow your business and share more fully in the success that is San Antonio. Thanks, and have a great conference.
Our thanks to Congressman Lloyd Doggett. And now I'd like to introduce to you a representative who brings to the table some of those billions of dollars of contracting opportunities that Renee Watson has brought to the table for us today. And that is Colonel Michael Luft, the Director of Contracting at the Air Education Command for the U.S. Air Force.
Thank you, ma'am. And Renee, thank you for inviting me back again for a second year. You know, this is a fantastic conference. I've looked forward to it all year long. I really get energized when I get to see the small business representatives we've got out in the audience and those that will continue to come with us today. Now, I must admit, sir, I had the exact same conversation with my wife over the last couple of weeks, the opportunity to meet Mr. Emmett Smith. She was talking about all the, the great dancing and that sort of thing, and so she, in fact, just texted me a few minutes ago to ask if we had met yet. But then my son-in-law said, you better talk about football and not dancing if we get the chance. So just saying, a little bit of conflict in the Luft household. So anyway, wonderful to have you here with us, gentlemen. Yes, as mentioned, we do have certainly a lot of opportunities here in San Antonio for small businesses. Many of you, if you're keeping up with certainly the news out of the D.C. area, it's not been a great year for the federal budget, and that certainly hits the Department of Defense as well. We've had some challenges. We're doing a lot of things to try to overcome those challenges. We're trying to give opportunities for the small business community to kind of come along with us as we navigate kind of what may become the new normal. So I'm looking forward to spend a little bit of time with you. I think a little later this morning, 9:30 or thereabouts in Area D, we've got a consortium of a few of us will be giving presentations there on kind of how to do business with the federal government, specifically Department of Defense. And we can kind of be up front, say what things have been happening and what we are doing to try to mitigate some of those challenges. What I like to get across to folks, the opportunity is still there. The opportunity for large dollar contracts to small business is still there, and there's a lot to be had and a lot to be gained. We consider the small business community to be integral and vital to what we accomplish in the Department of Defense and the Air Force, and we certainly want to keep that relationship. So I look forward to meeting many of you throughout the day, whether in the presentation area or I always stay after to kind of walk around and meet several of you. So please don't be shy. I'd love to chat with you. And we have a number of small business specialists that are here with us today that also we're going to be throughout the event to be able to answer very specific questions for you. So thank you all for coming, and again, thank you for the kind invitation to return to the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel. And as I said, he represents some of the billions of dollars of contracting opportunities that you're going to run into today. But also, Renee has provided us with opportunities with lenders, such as the SBA, and those who can provide financing. So follow the judge's advice. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you want to work hard, you have a great idea, doesn't matter where your starting point is, you can get where you want to be. And you can see, since the judge himself followed that formula, why this kind of approach permeates Bexar County and why the SMWBE program has been so successful. Now, I want to call your attention to the little box in front of you. It's not a corsage. There is one thing that Renee wants to add to the formula, and if you open up your box, you will see what it is. Save for retirement. Let's everybody be successful, make a lot of money, and then save for retirement with your piggy banks. Now we want to get down to the real business of why we all came to breakfast this morning. We have a team with us, Mr. Eugene Walker and Mr. Emmett Smith. And together they formed a company called E.J. Smith Construction Company, LLC. LLC is an important part of that, and if any of you get a chance to ask them a question of why they did that, that would be a good thing for you to explore. Now, why would Emmett Smith, who is famous worldwide, need a business partner? This particular business partner, Mr. Eugene Walker, brought with him a lot of expertise and knowledge in the construction business. It's one thing to have an entrepreneurial spirit and a commitment and the interest and the get up and go. It's another thing to have the competence. And Mr. Eugene Walker brings that competence and experience with him. He worked on a project in San Antonio that all of you are probably familiar with, the J.W. Marriott PGA Tour with Austin Commercial Team. And he is the one who is responsible for ensuring that people like you and us, the local people who are the small women, minority, and veteran-owned businesses, had a piece of that pie. So first of all, we want to thank him for that. And he brings with him his partner, Mr. Emmett Smith. Emmett Smith, as we all know, is a brand in and of himself. But being a really smart man, he has been able to establish multiple businesses. He's everywhere. He's a developer, he's a realtor, and he dances, I hear. And I was hoping he'd bring that mirror ball trophy with him, but he didn't. So I'm going to offer to Mr. Emmett Smith a new opportunity for him, and we'll see if he takes us up on that. Since he's in the construction business, everyone is aware that the Dallas Cowboys have a helmet for contractors. They have a hard hat. Well, I was thinking that Emmett Smith might put together a new product. It's the Dallas Cowboys mirror ball hard hat. QVC and Home Shopping Network are waiting for it. So we want to introduce to you today, first of all, Mr. Eugene Walker. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Betty, for that introduction. Welcome. I am so pleased to be here and have the opportunity to come before you. To all of the political officials, public officials, the community leaders, contracting associations, but more importantly, the distinguished audience, the contractors that make up this conference, that make up our industry, I welcome you. I would first like to start by kind of giving you a little bit of insight as to who we are, me, and more importantly, why we decided to get into this business. Again, as stated, I'm Eugene Walker. I'm the president and CEO of multiple companies Emmett and I have together. The construction company is one, but we also have a management company as well as a supply company. But having said that, I think the most important thing that I really want to focus on is the fact that I come to you all from a position of humbleness. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to lay my cards on the table now. That humbleness comes from being in this business for almost 30 years and seeing it from a perspective of a large contractor. But I came up through the business. I started as a carpenter. I've got dual degrees in construction management, building construction technology. I swung a hammer. I did field engineer, and I did a lot of things in terms of climbing that corporate ladder. Spent many years as a senior estimator, project manager, ultimately finishing up as a director for a multi-billion-dollar-a-year company. But I think some of my best work came as a result of mentoring over 300 small businesses. My humbleness is that I actually see things through a different set of lenses now. Seeing them through the lenses of a small business has really humbled my spirit, because although I've worked with small businesses, it's nothing like being a small business owner. The challenges are so difficult, that every day I wake up, and some days it's a continuous overnight endeavor, I always come to work and there's a new challenge facing me every day. So I know you guys are experiencing that, you have been experiencing it, and I know how hard you work to just get the little bitty piece of that opportunity. We hear these large projects, these mega million, billion-dollar programs that are out there, and we often wonder, how can we play? We know we're not at that level just yet, but somebody started at the level that we are at now and ultimately are able to compete and perform those large mega million, billion-dollar programs. So my position today is one that, yeah, we want to talk to you a little bit about what we've done and how we've done it. But more importantly, I want to make sure that we wrap this thing up with some words of encouragement from Emmett as it relates to the motivation that you need and the leadership that you need internally, as well as the external leadership support that's going to be needed to make sure that you sustain your business endeavor as it relates to this industry. We've had the fortunate opportunity to start a business to where we focus on two components of our industry, and that's the heavy highway component as well as the commercial building component. We've been very fortunate. We started our business in October of 2010, and in a short period of time, we've been able to land some pretty significant projects. We're currently performing on a large project at DFW Airport, building the new parking structure there in conjunction with another large prime contractor. And we're also currently building the new headquarters for DFW Airport, that foundation package we're on. We've done some significant light rail projects for Dallas area rapid transit on both the Orange Line and the Blue Line. And we also have some pretty significant public-private partnership projects that we're working on the heavy highway side. So yeah, we've grown a lot in a very short period of time, but through that growth, one thing I want to make sure that you all clearly understand is that it's very, very important to make sure that that growth is controlled. One of the things that I can tell you is that everybody wants to team up with a celebrity, including me, okay? But at the end of the day, be careful what you ask for. And I say that, I say that not because of my teaming with Emmett, but because of the fact that somebody just might take you up on that offer. And in doing so, you have to make sure that you are prepared for that opportunity. And my point here is preparation meeting up with opportunity. Be advised and be careful that all preparation is not proper preparation. As much experience as I have in this business, the one thing that I can tell you is that I was not prepared. I was not prepared for when I walked out on that job site and I realized that I had over 80 people and 80 families depending on me making the right decisions of leadership, depending on making sure that I've got the proper estimate to sustain that project, make sure I've got the proper supervision to make sure that we deliver that project. And it's not easy, folks, because at the end of the day, where I go, my people go, and vice versa. So I challenge you to make sure that you focus more on the proper preparation in terms of putting your businesses in a position of success. You know, I want you to take advantage of this conference. This conference has helped me. This is my 13th year, actually. I remember when Renee started this. Renee and I have been friends for over 15 years. But in doing so, I've watched this conference grow. but I've also watched the growth of a lot of companies here in the audience. And I look forward to that continuous growth, but more importantly, I also look forward to working closely with a lot of the contractors that are here and basically just sharing the lessons learned that I have learned, but more importantly, that I continue to learn as a small business now. So again, without taking up too much of the podium, I was strictly told by Betty that, Eugene, we love you, but at the end of the day, I came here to hear Emmett. So be brief and be gone. So that I will do, but more importantly, again, I'll be around. Again, I'm operations, if you will. Emmett and I, we have a wonderful synergy of in particular, staying in our lanes. He is fantastic as a brand in terms of bringing business opportunities to the organization, and I, in turn, am responsible for delivering. So I can't express enough how much of a pleasure it is for me to have a business partner like Emmett Smith, but more importantly, I, on a daily basis, continue to lean on the motivation that he gives me every day as it relates to the stick-to-itness to make sure that we continue to go forward, and the leadership skills that he brings, not only from the football field, but also in the boardroom. So having said that, it's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to spending more time with you as the day goes on. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Emmett Smith.
Good morning. Is everybody awake? Well, truly, to all of the great people here at the head of the table, and Renee, who has put on this conference, I am truly honored that I was asked to come down and to speak to you about what we do, and Gene has done an excellent job about what we do, and about how I got into the business, which is often times a question that is proposed to me or Eugene. But before I get there, I just want to just commend each and every one of you organizations out there for your passion for what you do, your love for what you do, and the vigorousness that you have about going about doing your business. Because you and I are all the same. Yes, I come out of the world of sports, but I had to have the passion, I had to have the stick-to-itness, I had to have a purpose. And that's what we all are here for, because we have a purpose for doing the things that we do. My purpose in life began obviously in sports, but what I've learned throughout my life is that sports is the greatest metaphor of life. It teaches you so much about the different challenges that you will deal with, whether it's in construction business or in your particular business. The question is, when you deal with it, how do you go about dealing with it? What type of